Hey people, my name is Crystal Barkley, and I went through Cri Genetics to have my DNA done. Now, I had something called the maternal HAPLO done. What the maternal HAPLO does is on your basic genetic test, it may show something like this. That shows that my ancestors just came from Europe. Well, I knew through family history we have Native American blood in us. But the problem with that is the Native Americans came to America from so far back that it doesn't show in a basic DNA test. So what you have is a maternal and a paternal HAPLO test. And this test, the maternal one, shows the mother's side. That means my side, my mother's side, my grandmother's side, my great-grandmother's side, going way back. The paternal one shows the father's side. That would be my brother, my grandfather, my great-grandfather. I could not get that, but I did get the maternal side. Now, one thing that really surprised me is on my maternal side, my grandmother, who never claimed to be Native American at all, shows to show the trek that was taken to make her blood Native American. There's a big family history to that, and things that my grandmother had said to my mother that should have given us hints, because my grandfather's last name is Cookuk, which is European, but he's only half Native American. My grandmother allowed my mom to think he was full Native American, calling my mom a half-breed all the time. But here's what it showed. Going back in my DNA, it showed my beginning of my ancestors started here in Africa. They moved across and they went through to here and then down to the Indonesia area. We came from places like Punjabi, which is on the border of Pakistan and Italy, so it's very possible that some of my bloodline is from Pakistan and India there. They come from places like, I can't pronounce this, it's Gusiti, I don't know, but it's in India, Bengali in India, from Sri Lanka, China, Japan, Vietnam. We then come over here, and they come from places like Cuba, Puerto Rico, Peru, Colombia, Mexico, into America. And because I know some of my tribes, that puts us in and out of Canada before Canada became Canada. So that's where my people come from. And because of the HAPLO track of where my people come from, that shows, and the timeline of when they came from that area, that shows my family's Native American history, their tribal history. These people here came through here before Europeans came through here, okay? And through Siberia, they came through Siberia, all of this area, up through here, into here, which makes us Native American. And by that, because my mom on my grandmother's side is 1/4 Native American, or 1/4 Native American. And on my father's side, it showed in the DNA that my mother was half Native American, according to this. My grandmother was half Native American according to the HAPLO and the percentages. Now, I don't know how much is on my dad's side or my grandfather's side. Now, according to family history, my dad is also Native American, and I know my grandfather is Native American. He belonged to a tribe and everything. He is Native American. I know that. So, because I had done DNA tests before, I only knew about this part here. But since I had the HAPLO done with Cri Genetics, is what they're called, since I had that done, I now know about all of this, including this right here, the 0.10% Afro-Caribbean, which means not only is my family Native American, but we are also descendants of the slaves of the Caribbean islands. These are things that shocked me about the Afro-Caribbean line of my family being part of this, that my family was once slaves. The fact that we came from places like Haiti and Puerto Rico and Peru and Colombia. And there's different tribes for each one of these areas that I had wrote, like the Inca tribes. There's also other tribes in Peru, but there's the Inca tribes. There's the Mayan tribes in some of the areas. There's different tribes for different areas. But if you know who some of your tribe, your American tribes were, you can guesstimate what tribes they came from to come up into America, from the timeline and the tribes themselves. So I encourage everybody, and Cri Genetics have actual geneticists doing their haplogenetics. Ancestry.com for a long time could not do the HAPLO because they did not have the geneticists to do that with. So Cri Genetics is a more reputable company. That's all I got to say. What I got from Ancestry.com was in no way as detailed as what I got here. So my encouragement to every person out there in the world, that if you can afford it, which for me, I'm on a fixed budget. It took me a couple of months, but it was only $100 and some odd, so it took me a couple of months to be able to get the HAPLO part done. So I encourage, if you've got an extra couple $100 to do your DNA, go ahead and do your DNA. And then when it's done, Cri Genetics is very willing to get on the phone with you and explain to you what all of this means. They will straight up tell you. They cannot tell you whether you are Native American or not. The only thing that can tell you that is A, family history, B, the timeline and the trek of where your ancestors came from to in your HAPLO line to end up where they were. Those are the only things that will tell you whether or not you are potentially Native American. And because of my family history, knowing that I was Chippewa, Choctaw, and Blackfoot Native American, that my Native American not only comes from my mother's side, but also comes from my father's side. And on my mother's side, it shows that I'm about 1/4 Native American. On my father's side, however, that could be more. I could be anywhere from 1/3 to 1/2. I don't know, because I have no way to tell that. But from my mother's side, I am 1/4 Native American. And that's how you can tell that. It's not because the test will come up and say, oh, you're Chippewa, you're Choctaw. No, it will not. It will tell you your family history came from here, went through here, all the way through there, and up through there. And because of research, that shows the track of where Native Americans normally came from. And because of my family history, knowing family history, that tells me that that's how much Native American I have in me. Now, my mother, however, did not know that her mother had 1/2 Native American. She knew about her father, but not her mother. Her mother had some, let's say, racial biases, and would often call my mom a half-breed, leading my mom to believe that my grandfather was half Native American. But through my research, I found that the last name my grandfather had is not a Native American name. It is a European name. So how could he get a European surname, if he is in fact full Native American? There's no way that would have happened. So with the DNA, and I figured it may have been because during the time that America was trying to integrate Native Americans, maybe they changed his name. But that's not what happened. What happened is, through my DNA, I found out not only is my grandfather Native American, but my grandmother is Native American. And because my mother is half Native American, I can only surmise that my grandmother is half Native American and my grandfather was half Native American, making it so that I turned out to be about 1/4 Native American on my mother's side. So, if you want to learn about your family history, I fully encourage you, get a DNA test. If you're a female, get your maternal HAPLO done. If you have male family members in your family, encourage them to get the paternal done. That way you get a full picture. I've got only half of a picture. I've got the picture from my mother's side. I have no means to be able to get the picture from my father's side. But I encourage you to do that in your own family, to have pride in where you came from, and to understand how much you truly are connected to not just one region of the world, but to the whole world. So have fun, people.